Howdy everyone, welcome to another live stream. Now I want to use these live streams as much as it's terrible to watch. I want to use them just to talk, I guess, because I'm so lonely. When my thoughts linger in my head for so long, I need to expel them out. But at the same time, I don't want to talk too much about stuff. Okay, so I'm deeply sorry for the terrible audio quality. I don't want to talk too much about stuff. I guess I have to speak more clearly. Okay, I should not swallow my words. Okay, this is going to be a problem. A very big problem. Um, Once again, don't have a microphone, a working, functioning microphone, but I will try and get it some other time. Now, the thumbnail for this video is rather strange. I know you may be wondering why the heck I chose this thumbnail. Why did I choose this thumbnail? In fact, I always choose weird thumbnails for my live streams, but this one in particular, basically, I stumbled upon a video of progressive and pro-life. Basically, people who are progressive and pro-life. That sounds amazing, right? But of course, some people don't think that's amazing. People are calling it a psyop because they are progressive pro-lifers. No, I'm not a progressive, obviously, but the fact that there are these people, these ultra progressive people who still think this is some kind of like strange thing, conspiracy. It's absurd. It really is absurd. There have been progressive pro-lifers for such a long time, and when you do more research on it, you then realize, hey, there's a lot of pro-lifers out there who are on the other side, not just one side. So of course, that's why I'm using the thumbnail. It's from this progressive pro-lifer. Okay, so okay, it's been really fun to dabble into stuff like that, to be fair, because you get a brand new perspective of who are pro-life and not pro-life. A couple years back, I discovered that there are progressive pro-lifers, but at the same time, you kind of forget about that. Okay, enough about that. I just wanted to, discuss my thumbnail. Okay. So yesterday I was discussing the war on escapism. Now, to summarize, a couple days ago I was having thoughts about escapism and why escapism is literally being attacked. There is a war happening with escapism, and we have to defend it. All of our favorite franchises, our favorite shows, our favorite cartoons, it's all being overtaken by people who could care less about it. They use it to inject their ideologies, and that's it. They use it as a platform just to advertise their ideologies. You know, it is really obnoxious because they don't want you to look around and find escapism. They want you to look around and only find reality. And yesterday I was saying that people can't endure reality for such a long time. It's rather impossible to endure reality for such a long time. That's why we need escapism. It's a must. I consider it a must to have escapism, be it uh, cartoons, reality shows. Well, maybe not reality shows. Maybe some fiction, live action fiction, stuff like that. I consider it a must because once again, reality is just murky stuff. Not everything is going to be fairy tales and amazement. Some stuff is going to be torture, and I can understand that completely. There's some terrible things happening, and always have been happening. We use escapism so we can actually make sense of the real world. We can have a balance of that. We need a balance. you know. We rely on fantasy to keep us entertained. We rely on escapism to basically keep us away from reality and give us a cool down period. Because too much reality is bad for the soul. I know it's kind of crazy for me to say that, but it is true. Too much reality, too much overthinking of reality, too much obsessing over reality, sometimes it does really put a strain on you. You need escapism so you can actually trot along reality. It can keep you sane. And these people don't want, these SJWs do not want escapism. It is a war on escapism. So, let's begin. Let me just hear my audio one more time. Do not want escapism. It is a war on escapism. Okay, I feel like I am speaking well. I can hear myself speak well, but for some reason it's impossible. It's impossible for me uh, to just explain stuff now. Honestly, this microphone is a tad bit better than my USB microphone, but at the same time, it's worse than my mini tablet microphone. Honestly, I could have just recorded this on my mini tablet and then posted it later. I think that would have been a much more fun experience. You know. But anyways, I think I should do that. Couple years ago, I was planning on making my own podcast series. I know, very unintelligible to do, but then again, everyone's doing it. But no, it doesn't make sense. Just because everyone's jumping off a bridge doesn't mean you should too. But I really wanted to try that out, and I promised that, but I never got into it. So maybe this could be a really good groundwork, a really good experience. Because speaking on a live stream is very fun and entertaining. So maybe I can find a way to record my voice. Okay. So my fingers are, of course, slightly warm. I just ate a meal. So obviously I am slightly better, but honestly, we have to make my fingers tap dance. And speaking of tap dancing, uh, something crazy happened to young Rupa. Basically, I don't know the full story. I should have watched the first video, but obviously I didn't have time to. He was first banned from PayPal, and then in the weekend they got him back. They brought his PayPal back, and I don't like discussing drama. I really don't. But wow, people were very bitter about him losing his PayPal. Amazing Lucas wanted him to lose his house. Now that could be a joke. Don't know. I don't know because I don't even know how Amazing Lucas jokes anymore. I used to watch him religiously back in 2019, and obviously, I just loved his way of words, and I love his discussions because it wouldn't just say the regular talking points; it would say something totally different, and I would understand that. I would completely understand what he's trying to say. I can get it because he's not someone who's sugarcoating everything. He is not sugarcoating everything. He was never doing that. But of course, then things happen, and then all of a sudden he's totally different now, and I enjoyed that for such a long time until he kept pushing and pushing, I guess. And then I thought to myself, you know what, I can't take this anymore. But anyways, let's just continue with our seg. Excuse me. Let's continue with our segment. Chapter 2. Present day makes Jack a dull boy. The present has shown that even escapism can be breached by the weakest of the weak. Now, in my previous video, uh, I did basically explain what these sentences means. Okay. Okay. So this was my final sentence. We've seen an overabundance of stories from the past being revived, but setting aflame. Hold on. Where the heck is my glasses? Oh, never mind. It's right in front of me. It's right in front of me. And I can't even see that. Wow. Uh, but setting aflame their old morals and characters, setting a red carpet down for new characters and stories that pique the interest of those who dwell in the depths of social media, bickering and fuming at those who dissent. Okay, okay, interesting enough. Um, I just want to find more about this word, just to see if I can form a sentence, because I know dissent is obviously disagreement, but I want to know, does it group the entire, does it just group something, or do I have to add more words to it? I am so terrible at this. I'm sorry. Okay, used without object. Okay, I can keep it as a sentence as it is then. You just gotta be sure. You just got to be sure about that. Okay. Okay. Now, now, um, so the present day. This chapter is all about the present day, and the present day is really, really murky. Worse than murky. We've seen an overabundance of stories from the past being revived, and this all comes with sequels and all these other types of stuff. Trying to revive the series, but then we replace the characters, and then if you complain about it, you are a bad person. Okay, so let's just start talking about this. No, that should be a separate chapter. The gaslighting, the fear mongering, basically. When you say certain characters should not be this or that skin, or maybe certain characters should not be woke or whatever, people then start calling you ist and isms. That should be chapter 3. Chapter 3 should be about ist and isms, racism, sexisms, uh, racist, misogynists, and all these other words they like to throw on the wall every time you dissent from them. Okay, so um, we already established that the people who are controlling said shows, said ideas, said past glories are the weakest of the weak. And the social justice warriors, the ones who bicker about the smallest words possible, you know? And speaking of that, I'm going to use recent examples. Did you hear of the show Loki? I'm sure many of you have heard of that show from Marvel. It's a Disney series, I guess, for the character, and they made him bisexual. You know why they made him bisexual? Not because he was bisexual, because because the director was bisexual or something of the sort like that. It's utterly ridiculous because it just doesn't make any sense in the slightest that they always do such things. It's like, why can't you just direct the story for what it is? You're not here to tell your story. You're here to tell the comic story or this fantasy story, not your own story. And self-inserts. Okay. These anti-escapists. Let's just call them what they are. Anti-escapists. Anti-escapist. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce these words properly, but it's true. They are anti-escapists. Anti-escapism because they don't want you to escape to a fantasy world. They must have their own nonsense in it, their realities in it, or else it can never be good enough, you know? So that's why there's a lot of bickering on social media because it's never enough. They always want things to match their ideas, and obviously that relates to the real world. These anti-escapists, really? These anti-escapists encourage inserting their realities on characters, and they do encourage it, they really encourage it on social media. So do not be surprised when you see a bunch of them praising it and saying we need more of XYZ. When you see a bunch of them pushing for stuff like that, yeah, it's just all self inserts on characters. The next thing is obviously the relatable aspect. Now, once again, almost every character is somewhat relatable, but I'm not talking about the old standard of relatable. I'm talking about the current standard of relatable. The current standard of relatability is not about, oh, you play soccer and I play soccer. We from different countries, but we play soccer. That's totally amazing. I can relate to you. That's not relatability for uh, current stuff. You know, the relatability for current stuff is, hey, you have brown skin and I have brown skin. That means we relate to each other. That's their current relatable aspect. That's their current relatable aspects, no matter what a character they're writing. I grew up watching a lot of characters, cartoon characters, uh, who were white. I had no issue with that growing up because the concept of race never even hit me. And then obviously people start talking about race, and then you have people saying things, and you have different arguments. But at the same time, it's like, once again, um, racism is taught and brought down from older generations, and it'll never end. Okay, it'll never end until people just stop talking about it, stop trying to make it seem like a big deal. We all are humans, but some people don't believe that. Some people believe that it's basically whites against everyone brown. They lump every brown person together, which does not make sense in the slightest. Because they believe that if you're brown, you have the same experience, you went through the same stuff, and not just brown, but if you are gay and brown, then you have a worse experience, and then if you are gay, trans, and brown, then you have the worst experience of life ever. So what I'm trying to say is that, honestly, they have a hierarchy of oppression. They have so much of oppression on their pyramid. Have you heard of the food pyramid? Well, they don't have the food pyramid. They don't possess the food pyramid. They possess the oppression pyramid. The one on the top is obviously the most oppressed, and right down in the bottom is the least oppressed. And and obviously that's going to be gay dudes, gay white dudes. That's their oppression. You know, that's their oppression pyramid. I should actually make an oppression pyramid to prove it to y'all, because for the past few years, when you see them bicker about who's the most, hello, hi, when you see them bicker about who is the most oppressed, nothing ever gets done. They always complain about who is the most oppressed. Okay, so that's what their relatability is, and relatable. So I'm gonna make this very clear, because I feel like adding the word relatable isn't just enough for this specific piece of writing. It needs to be more deeper than that. So these anti-escapists really encourage inserting their realities on characters, making them shallow and relatable. I can't even say the words. I'm sorry if I stutter. I'm so sorry if I stutter. I really apologize. I never even warm up my voice. Okay, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. But sometimes I can't pronounce words. I can type and write very well, but at the same time, I do buffer a lot when it comes to speaking. I'm not the best at speaking. Not relatable. I can't even say it now. Relatability. There we go. With action, thoughts, or similar scenario experience, but complexions. Is that how you spell complexions? I never really used the word complexion before. Okay, no T. Okay, no T. No T. Complexions. Complexions, that's all they care about is complexions. They think just because we have the same skin tone, that means we all agree. That doesn't make sense. That does not make sense in the slightest. Just because you have the same skin tone doesn't mean you're gonna agree with the same stuff. You know. So they really just want to throw these characters and say, okay, you must relate to them now. They are bland characters as well. Characters. How do you spell obnoxious? Honestly, for some reason, this program is giving me autocorrect stuff. It never did that before. Something's definitely wrong. When I stopped live streaming yesterday, the site went back to normal. Okay. Rotten. And I think awful is a good word to put it. Bland and awful characters. The newer slash replacement characters are often bland and awful. But prompt. Okay. So yeah, let me just hear my audio. Let me hear it. Okay. That's terrible. I do like the clicking of the keyboard though. I think that's really amazing. Love it. Alright then. Oh, I forgot to tell you about my dream. I forgot to tell you about my dream. Now, I can't remember the first dream, but I do remember I woke up and then my mother told me to go back to sleep. And then, this was today by the way, early in the morning. And as I was sleeping, I dreamt about the strange scenario where we had a bag of grapes, and these grapes were really dark. And then we kept washing them. They kept changing colors to a point where they were neon blue. Okay, we had neon blue grapes. Okay, now that doesn't exist. It never exists. That's amazing. Okay, neon blue. That's fantastic. I wasn't even thinking of grapes yesterday, and all of a sudden it appeared. I do think it's a good idea to add that in my stories because, sometimes I do take things from my dreams and add it into the stories. Something unique like neon grapes that can be seen as food for different species or something like that. Trying to make the world very more complex, and you need to add certain different stuff. So I think neon blue grapes will do amazingly well. I wanted to try it out for some reason. I wanted to try it out, and the dream felt very realistic. This was the first time, I would say, in recent years where I never even thought about me being in a dream. Normally, when I'm in a dream, I always think that this is a dream. I always know it's a dream. I always wonder if it's a dream or not. But this was the first time where I thought nothing. I never think at all. Okay. My eyes are starting to hurt. I hope it's not migraines. I had a migraine around Friday and it was terrible. It was really terrible. I should not be so close to the freaking laptop, but the microphone requires me to be so close. My eyes are just hurting. No, it's not a migraine, don't worry. Migraines start off with blurry vision, then it transcends to headache, then it transcends to highball and nostril pains. Yeah, it's completely messed up. Um, Obviously, I need to take a break from computers. I need to have a well balance when it comes to stuff like this, or else I would never ever get anything done. Let me drink some water. I'm really thirsty. Alright, alright, alright. So, okay. So, today is Tuesday, and it's the final day of May. How how interesting. The year has gotten so fast. Couple months from now, things are gonna get even more hectic. A couple of games are coming out next month. Uh, Obviously, I'm looking forward for Sunbreak. Obviously, Sunbreak is so important. And that's basically it. Sunbreak, and yeah. Honestly, I would love to buy more Nintendo Switch games, but they are literally costing arms, legs, and lungs. They are so expensive. But I think they're worth the price. You see, if I was making books earlier, I could have at least afford some of these games now. I really dislike the idea of procrastination. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, my fingers are nice and warm. I think I have to end it. But of course, thank you so much for watching this live stream. Uh, I'm really, really, uh, I don't know. I guess I have to take a slight break, maybe pace around a bit, and then I'll come back to writing. And okay, so have an amazing, spectacular day. Bye bye.